And we need to stop asking, why is this still a problem? And we need to start asking, what are we finally going to do about it? And I'm going to share in this episode more about how embarrassed I feel and how undereducated I am of my own white privilege. But I am really committed to waking up to a higher level, getting educated and speaking up for justice, because I am a stand for all Black lives. I am a stand for my Black friends, my students, my community. I'm a stand for equality. I'm a stand for freedom. I'm a stand for speaking up. I'm a stand for educating myself, for doing the work, and cultivating a safe and inclusive space for all. Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz coach and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. Together, we'll make magic your everyday normal, bringing you the highest vibrational content to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation and mindset tools, teachings, and experts to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Here's the quantum transformation, baby. Say it with me. Let's do this. Hey, Badass Manifester. Welcome back to this week's episode. I actually had a different episode arranged for today, but I had to change it due to current events and what was in my heart. And shout out to my team for allowing me to move with what feels best at this time. And I'm nervous to share what I have to share. And I went live in my Facebook group and shared this as well. And it's hard. It's hard to step up and share from your heart, especially when you don't want to mess it up. And I'm going to mess it up. If you're a leader and you're sharing, you're going to mess it up too. And that is what we're talking about today. We're talking about what it means to be a leader. We're talking about anti-racism, anti-perfectionism, and we're talking about having hard conversations and keeping it real. So I know that you will get something out of this episode and you're here for a reason. If you are in this community, I want you to know that you belong here. This community is for everyone that wants to learn how to manifest their life on purpose and be the best versions of themselves. And that is for the Black community. That is for the LGBTQ community. That is for white people, everyone. And I always thought that that was a given, but I've never actually said that. And I want you guys to know. And my promise is to incorporate more of that into my content, more inclusivity in the questions that I ask my guests and in the things that I share, and just bringing more awareness to all the different types of people that are part of this community, because no matter how you identify, we are all one. We are all humans. We are all in this together. And this episode in particular is highlighting Black Lives Matter. It's so important to me. It's so important to me, and I didn't even know how important it was to me. So sit back, relax, enjoy this episode, and I want to make this a conversation. So if you have comments or if you have anything you'd like to share that you think would be valuable to add to the conversation, please join the Facebook group and post, as well as if you tag me on Instagram, I'll be able to answer you. Thank you so much. I'm going to share the Facebook Live that I recorded because it's raw, it's real. But before I do that, I want to say when this all started to happen, I felt very paralyzed with what to share. And I felt like I didn't know what to say because I was so uneducated on the subject. And I had a beautiful member of my community. She's a beautiful coach. Her name is Jenna Energy. Go follow her on Instagram. Shout out, Jenna. And she was like, I feel called to tell you that it's time to step up. Like basically saying like, you know, I want to nudge you to be the leader that you are. And it was so it was a beautiful message. And it was also like, okay, a lot of pressure, I know, and like, what am I going to do? And I was writing a million drafts, and I think it's common that a lot of people just don't know what to say right now. And what happened was that as I was writing all these different drafts of things I wanted to share, this beautiful Black woman reached out in my group for the Quantum Coaching Academy. She's the only Black woman in a group of 26 women. And she reached out and she said, I'm just asking for some love and light. It's been a rough week. Do you guys mind if I ask for that? And send that to me. And the whole group responded so beautifully, and everyone sent her love and light and energy. And then she shared vulnerably and said how she was nervous to speak out and ask for that support, being the only Black woman in the group. And that was everything I needed to be able to write the post that I wrote. And of course I asked her permission because she inspired me like so much, because I never even would have considered that. I never even would have thought like that would have been a scary thing for her to do. And that's the problem, right? Like, it brings me to tears just thinking about the fact that even has to be a question in her mind. It would never in a million years be a question if I/our group supported her because of the color of her skin. It would never be a question. But it's a valid question to her. And white women would never have that same question. And that is part of this problem that we're dealing with in society today. And I went that day from feeling like nothing I had to share or donate would ever be enough to now feeling like every single post, every donation and way of supporting does matter. And so right now, I just want to remind you that whatever's in your heart to share or to donate, it matters. It makes a difference. And we need to stop asking, why is this still a problem? And we need to start asking, what are we finally going to do about it? And I'm going to share in this episode more about how embarrassed I feel and how undereducated I am of my own white privilege. But I am really committed to waking up to a higher level, getting educated and speaking up for justice, because I am a stand for all Black lives. I am a stand for my Black friends, my students, my community. I'm a stand for equality. I'm a stand for freedom. I'm a stand for speaking up. I'm a stand for educating myself, for doing the work and cultivating a safe and inclusive space for all. And so I've donated to the Minnesota Freedom Fund. I'm donating to other local charities as well as, other charities, and we're doing donation matching. So if you haven't gone to my Instagram, I will be matching donations. So please take time, donate. And the only other thing I want to say that I am now clear around, before I did the beginning of this intro and before I recorded this Facebook Live that you're about to hear, I talked about anti-racism, and someone brought it to my attention that whatever they reminded me that like the universe does not understand negative. So when you say anti, the only word the universe hears is racism. So what are we if we're anti-racist? We are pro-equality. We are pro-humanity. We are pro-oneness, right? We are pro-justice. So I want to start changing my language around this. And I know that I say it in the live, and I said it in this intro, but I just want to say that our words create our reality, which I say all the time. And so if you're anti-racist, just ask yourself, so what am I? What am I for? What am I for? What am I for? What am I pro? Whatever you're anti, you're pro for. So let's start focusing our energy on pro, because the universe hears the words that go after, right? Pro equality, 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 justice, justice, right? Human rights. That's what I wanted to presence as well. So here is the Facebook Live. Thank you for listening, and I can't wait to hear what you think. It was really scary to press live today and press record. But that's like what this is all about, right? Is doing the uncomfortable, leaning into the uncomfortable, and showing up and being a leader. So there's a lot that I've reflected on and journaled and cried and felt into, and I want to share it with you right now. The first thing I want to say is that yesterday I posted on my Instagram story that I don't want to be spiritually ignorant. I'm definitely guilty of being spiritually ignorant. And what I mean by that for me is that I have deliberately, not watched the news for many, many years. I have been, blissed out in ignorance, having no idea what goes on in the world. And for a long time, I thought that that was like the way to, lean into manifestation as opposed to being aware of what's going on in the world. And regardless of what's happening out there, to be able to see it, acknowledge it, and feel what I feel from it, and not just bypass it, right? Because it's happening for a reason. Like every single thing that's happening is part of awakening. And when I would turn the news off, I would literally close off that entire part of something that's really valuable for awakening. So I just want to acknowledge that that could be happening for you. I know it's happened for me, and I want to stop doing that. And since the pandemic, I've been like really curious about politics and really curious about the media and really curious about what's going on in the world. And for me, it's working. This curiosity of being curious instead of being reactive. And so if you can look at what's happening and feel whatever comes up, but also be curious, I think that that will help immensely. Yeah, the spiritual bypassing, I wanted to touch on that. And if that resonates with you, definitely let me know, because it means that I'm not alone, which makes me feel better. So, my whole life I have had a fear of messing something up and speaking out and being judged and feeling like I have to be perfect all of the time. I've never wanted to rock the boat. I've even just down to dyeing my hair. I never wanted to rock in any direction that would make anything what if I messed it up, I never wanted to speak out about things that could potentially hurt other people. Being polarizing to me was really frightening. And, recently I've spoke out on something political, and that backfired at me too. And I never want to be too political or too much of this or too much of that. But what I've realized as one of my clients, this beautiful Black woman who was in one of my recent programs, her name is Bria Jones. She's incredible. She shared that racial injustice, it's not political. Racial injustice is about human rights. And human rights is what we're talking about. And what I've realized is that leadership is never about perfection, right? To be a leader, it's not about being perfect. That's why leaders are either loved or they're hated, right? They're either agreed with or they're disagreed with. That's what leadership is. It's about being brave enough to stand up in your truth and say, this is what I believe, this is what I feel. You're with me or you're not. And that is so scary. And I think that a lot of people in this group are leaders. Every one of you is a leader. And so I want you to know that, I know that that's a fear of a lot of people, but that's what leadership is. And as coaches and healers that are in this group, and in my programs, and my clients who have clients, I just want to give you the permission to take a stand for human rights. for what you believe and what you believe is right. Like, it's important. It's really important, right? It's like, okay, you wanted to be a leader? Here we go. This is what I titled this, right? It's like, you want to be a leader? Here we go. Like, this is why we're here. This is why right now we're born in this time and space reality so we can be leaders. That's it. You want an awakening, right? You're in this group. You want to manifest your life. You want awakening. Here we go, right? It's all here. It's all right here. You want to be a leader? Here we are. You want to be awakened? You want to be awakened? Here we go. Like, this is awakening right here. Awakening is never like sitting on the top of a mountain just in this meditation pose, right? This like grandiose vision of what spiritual awakening is. It's usually the opposite. Awakening is met with darkness. Awakening is met with resistance and fighting and it hurts. Like, awakening isn't always rainbows and butterflies. It rarely is. Like, anytime I've had big breakthroughs in my life, it's always come out of a really dark place. And do that reflection for yourself, right? So I just want to say that this group is an anti-racist group, okay? This is also an anti-perfectionism space where you can share vulnerably. You can mess things up here. My mom has always taught me to never judge someone based on the color of their skin. Like, thank God she taught me that, right? Not everyone's parents did. And thank God she taught me that. And in my own reflection, I've had Black friends my entire life. I grew up in a private Jewish day school with Black Jewish friends. I have had Black women as my one-on-one clients in my group programs. I had a Black woman on my team as my social media manager. I had a Black woman I have Black women on my podcast, right? Despite the fact that I was taught not to judge people by the color of their skin, I know nothing. I am uneducated on so many things that it makes me upset. Like, it really upsets me. Like, how did I not know this? And I think that you guys can probably relate to that too. And so what I want to say about that is that, you know, as uneducated as I am on my own white privilege, just because I'm unaware of it, it doesn't make me wrong, right? And I see this over and over again on social media right now. Like, so many people are just unaware, and they're making themselves wrong for being unaware, but we don't know what we don't know, right? And so now we know better, we can do better, we can raise our kids better, right? You know, we just now have the opportunity to be better together. So I think I've reflected on, like, what does it mean to be an ally? I want to make my spaces that much safer, you know? I want to take action and responsibility and accountability. Speaking up, like right now, reaching out, donating, sharing, having hard conversations. Like, the hard conversations are big ones, you know? And my intention, I thought about this, like, what's my intention behind sharing all of this? What's my intention behind speaking out? There's a lot of it. But mainly my intention behind sharing this is to empower you to take responsibility, to have hard conversations, and also to forgive yourself. That's something that I've been working on, right? And something else I want to do is hold my family accountable to the way that we want to raise our children and what we want to teach them, and having deeper conversations with your loved ones, your husband, your wife, and the way you want to practice anti-racism. You know, we are all in this group for awakening. Like, that's why you're here. If you're in the Badass Manifestor community, you want to create your life on purpose, like, you're here for awakening. And this is the next wave of awakening, to eradicate racism and stand together as one body, one humanity together. And I want to hold my community accountable on deeper levels and have hard conversations and talk about things that aren't talked about. You know, I used to think that I did that, but obviously not on these levels, which is fine, right? Like a new awareness. You know, I'm lucky enough that my yoga studio, Grace and Glory Yoga, they are so active in social justice. And, you know, it's really inspiring. We have a nonprofit studio called the Leadership Studio in, you know, underserved communities, and they're making a huge difference in my local community. So, like, find pockets in your own community, because yes, it's a global problem, but it's also a personal thing. And, like, if you can get involved in your own community and start there, that's a really, really great place to start. Thanks, Jenna. And I want to give a shout out to Jenna. Jenna messaged me a couple days ago, and she had this channel from the universe and she said that she feels as though I needed a nudge to speak up and reach out. And I was like, you know, I feel like nothing I say is enough. And, like, that was me making it about me. And it's not, this isn't about me, right? Far from it. So thank you. Okay, so I want to hold you guys accountable. And what do I mean? I mean that even though my mom taught me super well, I've still made racial slurs. I've still, in jest, right? I've still sang songs with the N-word. I've heard people say things, and even though I've said stop to people in my family, stop, don't say that, that's horrible, it's not enough. Saying stop is not enough. You can't be a stand for it. I will not be a stand for that. And it's going to be hard conversations between, you know, people that are very close to me. And even if it's uncomfortable, even if it causes an argument, I really am committed to standing up for what I believe in. And I hope you are too. Okay. I've watched so many people's live videos and everyone cries, so I'm not going to apologize for it. Okay. With that being said, I just want to say, like, you know, I am so sorry for not knowing what I didn't know. And I'm willing to forgive myself and just do better. And that's a practice that you can take on, is just forgive yourself and do better and show up in any way that feels right to you. It's okay if you don't know what to say right now. It's okay if you don't know how to act. It's okay if you don't have some grand social media post. Social media is nothing compared to you taking action in your local community, or having hard conversations with your family, or doing things that will actually make a difference, right? So I just wanted to presence that, you know, we can't awaken and have a peaceful world when there's so much pent up anger and hate and injustice. Like, the awakening that we want, the vision that I have for the world is not necessarily this, but this, I think, is going to get us to where we want to be, with peace and harmony and love. And I didn't understand in the beginning why it was Black Lives Matter. Like, I didn't fully understand that. And I thought all lives matter. Obviously, all lives matter. Like, duh. All lives do fucking matter. They do. But this isn't about all lives. This is about Black lives mattering. Mattering the same as anybody else's. And in our society, from generations, that just hasn't been true. And it's time that it just isn't even a freaking issue anymore. This is literally crazy town. So with that, I just, I want to offer something, and, I want to use this group as an opportunity to give you the stage to share how you feel in taking action and to exercise your leadership. So if you're a Black woman and you want to speak up inside this group, we're listening, and you can just hit live. If you're a white woman and you want to speak up in this group, we are listening, hit live. I want to create this space inside this group for all of us to be able to exercise how we feel, what we're learning, what you want to share, and have it be a safe zone for you to do that. Maybe you don't want to put it out in your own social media, but if you want to put it in this group, you're welcome to put it in this group. And I want to extend that invitation to you. And I just invite you to be open and be curious, just like I said at the beginning. And something that my team has helped me put together are some resources for education and donation. So inside the group, we started a doc. It's called #Black Lives Matter Movement Resources. And there's a ton of resources in here of where to donate. And something else that my team and I are doing we are going to be matching donations. So I haven't decided yet where I want to donate to, or if I'm going to just do split it up between 3 different charities. It's how do you pick, But I feel passionate about multiple of these charities. So I'm going to figure out which one or which ones, and we're going to do donation matching. And this is going to be between myself, Jenna Teague. She's on my team, but she also has a podcast with another beautiful soul, Ashley Looker, called Middle Finger to Perfection. And together, all 3 of us are going to donation match. So stay tuned for that. And if there's any ways that you can think of, any resources, this document in here, you can add resources to. So when you click it, you can edit the document in the right-hand corner. It literally says edit, and you'll be able to share. Allow yourself to scroll through and find what resonates with you. And I'm going to keep adding resources here. And this was so amazing. This one, when my beautiful Black boy grows up, this was from my best friend. This is what she deals with and her reality. So I wanted to add that in there and honor her. And yeah, so make sure you go add resources. I will definitely keep you guys posted on the donations, and together we can make a difference. I went from thinking okay, no post, no amount of money, no donation will ever be enough coming from me, but everything does matter. You matter. You're different. You make it. Whatever difference that you're here to make with this will matter. It truly will. So thank you for tuning in and listening. I really, really appreciate it. I empower all of you to be the leaders that you are, and that can be in any way that feels comfortable for you. And again, I'll just say this. If you want to share in this group, please do. Please share how you feel. Let your voice be heard. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing will be. It'll be perfectly imperfect, but this is an anti-racist, anti-perfectionist group, and we all need you. So I invite you to step up in any way that you feel that you want to. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Woo! We did some work today because that is how we roll. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too. How can you support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit those 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. It truly means the world to me. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot this episode and tag me and my guests on IG at Manifest with Ash. Say with me, I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy. I deserve everything I desire. Now go get 'em.